Well, if the last 3 years weren't interesting enough, how does rapid inflation sound for some 2022 entertainment? We are in a sea of red searching for that one green bar to give us hope, but it always disappears. Between 25% losses in the stock market and, depending on what you purchased, 30 to 100% losses in the crypto markets, it's a tough time for anyone without a large stash of fiat money. Well, it has been hard for everyone outside of video game investors. Who would have thought? But before we get too far, it's sponsor time. GamerPay, a site where you can buy and sell CSGO skins. A site part owned by the co-founders of Twitch and Astralis alongside some notable pro partners. GamerPay has been a go-to site for selling skins in the community due to their 0% fees for selling and withdrawing. A host of features such as a 3D viewer, Steam and Buff price comparisons, filters for stickers, and a shareable shop so it's easier for others to find your items. Know your customer security is necessary to keep you secure, and verification is usually done within a day. After searching for a skin, you can buy with a card or wallet funds with varying fees, and GamerPay will autofill the trade for you. GamerPay is a very secure site with some very notable names attached to them, and they are operating within Denmark. If you are interested, I have a link in the description that also helps me out. There are many ways you can invest in video game items, like Rust, Dota 2, Team Fortress 2, and various others that I don't interact with. Considering the lack of context and understanding of these markets, I will not be covering them. Regardless, each item market, specifically through Steam, functions in a similar fashion. For something like the Counter-Strike market, a specific item is listed, for example an op Asimov, which is very liquid. A user decides to purchase the item and the seller receives balance for the item they just sold. In many of these games, there's third-party options where you can trade through a bot, or in some cases, you can put the item up for auction. Buy orders are utilized like a traditional market, but on a much smaller scale. But we will get to that. With a game like Counter-Strike that has been building its market for the last 9 years as one of the largest games in the world, constantly adding new purchasable items and generating higher demand through limited supply, we have a market in theory that will only go up. Your typical investment items like stickers that once applied cannot be removed, and cases that once opened with a key will turn into a random item skin. There is a constantly decreasing quantity of many of these items that will eventually turn into profit. And as the demand from others looking to consume or collect what the market has to offer, which in turn keeps the prices trending upwards. But all of this is funded through an individual's bank account. If people aren't comfortable putting money into the market, prices become stagnant, and for higher supply items, prices will decrease. Traditionally, before we saw 3 summer hypes in the last 3 years creating those massive spikes, winter was the highest price point for items throughout the year. Why is this? Well, the Counter-Strike market doesn't function like a stock market. With more people inside in the winter, there's more people buying items. Therefore prices would rise. And funnily enough, that's the secret to beating inflation. Considering you are seeing this video, you either found my channel directly or found me through YouTube recommendations after seeing some of these guys. Counter-Strike investing, which does still deserve an asterisk, has become a bit of a phenomenon. People giving investment advice on YouTube has ballooned to one of the most prominent communities that Counter-Strike offers. Between streamers like OniPixel and YouTubers like Jesus, there is immense interest in using skins, stickers, and cases as a way to make money. And it's not like those thoughts are misplaced either. My Counter-Strike portfolio has outperformed my stocks that I finally purchased and my crypto, and not by a small margin either. My relatively recent video where I competed against a stock market investor shows how hard it can be to turn a profit these days. But it's not the profit that keeps the wheels turning. At the end of the day, the entire purpose of a skin is to use it in game. We are the weird ones for buying hundreds of one skin to throw into a storage unit. Stickers are meant to be applied to those skins. We are weird for buying thousands of them and leaving them in a storage unit. Cases are meant to be opened. We are, well, actually maybe we're the smart ones, but it's still a little weird for someone like me to have a storage account full of cases when they're designed to be opened. In any other market, the purpose is to make money. In the Counter-Strike market, we desire certain items. They may not make any sense as an investment, but we want to buy it anyways. You don't see people buying dead stocks and flexing their purchases to others unless you're on Wall Street bets. I would say the simplest way to contextualize this is applying stickers on skins, specifically expensive stickers. It makes no sense financially, yet those who invest in this market will do it anyways, essentially wasting money for the opportunity to own something unique. Unlike a real market, for lack of a better term, the Counter-Strike market runs off of desire. As long as the game stays strong, items will be purchased and the market will rise. In the stock or crypto market, when things go from bad to worse, people sell. In the Counter-Strike market, it went more like, how long would this take to sell? Is it rare enough that it won't matter? I like this skin, so I'll just hold it. If I sell now, would I ever be able to buy it back? And last but not least, they didn't even think about it. I had to explain to my friends how to buy and sell items outside of the Steam market. I had to tell them items actually rise in price. I had to explain why people even buy stickers worth thousands of dollars. A significant portion of the Counter-Strike community buys their Steam gift cards to open cases for fun, or they buy skins off of the Steam market so they have cool items to show their friends. For many people, some even holding knives and other expensive items, they don't understand that this is a real market that can be converted to real money. The Counter-Strike market is not decided by wins and losses. Instead, growth of the game, social media presence, and quantity. That's what determines the prices of these items. Outside factors like inflation and recessions that run other markets are only considered by a select few and completely ignored by the majority. Efficiency is shit. Trend indicators, moving averages, supports, strength indexes, etc. There's a multitude of tools you can use to your advantage in a stock market to determine the health of the market or an individual company. Technical analysis is a substantial part of any market. In Counter-Strike though, not so much. When using a market risk monitor and all signs are pointing towards an insanely volatile period likely resulting in substantial losses, it's time to get out. There is no such tool for any kind of Steam market. There are buy orders creating an arbitrary support line, and due to the market being 9 years old, we do have a little bit of context, but the tools simply aren't there to accurately monitor the health of the market or the health of an individual item. Katowice 2015 stickers are down in price currently. Well, that doesn't matter. Other sections of the market are doing just fine. Cases spiked massively in price earlier this year. While outside of people reinvesting in Stockholm items, it really didn't make a difference in the market. Every type of item, every individual item, each individual market. Everything is so segregated, how could you ever achieve a definitive answer regarding the health of the market? Barring something like the 7-day trade hold, you can't. And that brings us to market inefficiency. There are thousands of items between old operation skins, old case skins, old stickers, old cases, graffitis, knives, gloves that are generally forgotten or see very little interaction from the community. How could you possibly determine how an item is affected by external factors if it hasn't sold in weeks, potentially months? Maybe someone decided to sell for the buy order. Well, that person might have been clearing out some items or got fed up waiting to sell. Prices went up 20% on a group of items. Well, maybe one person or a group of people manipulated it and demand hasn't increased, it's just a short-term spike from manipulation. Then there's skins like those with extremely low float that collectors trade around, or stickered skins like those with Katowice 2014 holos that sell substantially above market due to the price of each sticker applied. Each skin of this type is either one of one or very low in quantity, so reference prices are very hard to find. This is why we see reliable price checking creators as some of the largest creators in the entire Counter-Strike community. Even someone like me who has sunk way too much time into this market would approach Arrow or Oni just to get a more accurate price estimation. And at the end of the day, it's still an estimate. It's based on previous sales of an identical item, or an estimation based on a previous sale of a slightly different item. Some of these items don't even have any type of market history that could be used for technical analysis. Value is based on an arbitrary number determined by the buyer. The value changes upon each purchase, and even during the summer, which we would call a downturn in the market, many items are wildly successful while others fail to hold their price. Every facet, from selling an item to analyzing community interest, is inefficient. It's no surprise people carried on buying, selling, and collecting as usual during these tough times. There are just no signs telling them to stop. Yes, we don't have the tools available, but anyone could look at the graphs and which factors created those price movements. That's why we had people preparing for the summer hype. That's why we didn't have people investing in Stockholm 2021. Why recent operations have been heavily overinvested. People catch on quickly. Well, since 2013 when the arms deal update was introduced, we have never faced an economic situation quite like we see today. If we had some type of 2008 frame of reference, at least we could speculate around those previous outcomes, but this market is just too new. Even with all of these factors previously covered resulting in Counter-Strike staying strong so far in 2022, if previous economic struggles resulted in lower item prices, people would still find a way to sell quick. Fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, there is no reference of any kind. Counter-Strike has only existed in a fairly stable economic period, and this will be the first and hopefully the only time we will see how it reacts. So far, very strong outside of a few high-tier items like Katowice 2015, but once again, this could just be a slight dip caused by traditional summer woes in this space. Not only do I diversify in my investments, but I diversify in my markets. Stocks for stability, crypto for gambling on a potential explosion, and Counter-Strike for its independence and high return on investment. Being secure during serious economic uncertainty puts you ahead of others. Making money during uncertainty is the dream. Stockholm 2021, Revolver cases, Atlanta 2017, Operation skins. That's exactly what has happened over the last few months. I would argue Counter-Strike and other game markets are actually a functional inflation hedge.